Hey everyone, welcome to another video of the Small Urban Greens Homestead. I am Sammy, and in today's video it's going to be a little bit different. I normally take you around my homestead showing what is happening or how to propagate stuff or even grow in containers. But in today's video I am going to go around and tell you a little bit of what is actually happening. This season has been absolutely crazy, and compared to the past 3 years, I'm seeing drastic changes in climate. I'm seeing change in my homestead, and things that I was able to grow, I seem to be battling. I have heard from other people that I'm not the only one, and unfortunately climate change is a real thing and it has affected my garden this year. So let's just go around and I'll explain why I'm saying this and also why things aren't growing on my side. The garden hasn't seen any sun, nothing at all. It has been cloudy, it has rained every single day, and the soil has been wet for literally over a month. So some of my plants have definitely died, some is just struggling, and loads of fruit trees are not producing fruit. Some fruits do need sun to start the process. Some fruits do very well without any sun. So example is the cucumbers. They can do without sun and they'll just keep on producing cucumbers. The same as butternuts. So that is what I've come across, is that some butternuts have started going yellow there. So these 3 over there might fall off because it looks like it's got too much water in it, but there is loads of butternut producing. So this butternut vine has definitely not been affected. Pomegranates are doing amazing, so this fruit tree has not suffered. The tomatoes, on the other hand, is just starting to get a lot of diseases if not pruned properly. I've done a video on how to prune and make sure that there's nice airflow, that you mulch your tomato plants. But these are the 2 new seedlings, 1, 2, that I put in this garden, and it's been nearly 2 months and nothing is happening. It is struggling to grow, and that is because of no sun. There's just been water and more water. The same as this tomato plant, it has grown maybe that much and it's got no flowers on. So I am finding that my tomato plants are giving me less flowers now, and they're taking ages to ripen. And what happens is that when there's so much water, your plant starts sucking up all that moisture and goes into your plants, and then you'll get something like this, where the tomatoes and the fruits just start splitting and you start getting funny diseases on your crops. The leaves start looking like this, and I've just noticed that all my tomatoes are just starting to split. So that is the unfortunate part of growing stuff in your own garden, is that depending on the weather and the season, things at the moment are not looking good in the homestead because of climate change. But we are getting tomatoes, which I'm grateful for. But you can see that if you don't attend to your garden, you're going to get a whole bunch of diseases because of the rain. I actually planted this new tomato plant from a healthy pot that was looking great into the bed about a month ago as well, and you can see that it's not doing well. It hasn't grown at all. I'm going to have to cut this top piece off, and I see new growth there. I'm hoping that this tomato plant will survive because it's the first time growing it. It's called the Ailsa Craig, and out of all my seedlings, I only had one that survived. The same as the banana legs. It's just taking ages to grow. And my beans did not do very well as well this year. Swing across here, and this bed is actually picked up very nicely. The brinjals have started shooting up, so I think they are enjoying the water. I don't see any problems. Just have to do some pruning, and if I go in there, they are started to flower, and I think by the end of the month I should see some beautiful brinjals growing on them. Another crop that didn't do very well, my cherry and my 2 apple trees. Didn't get anything this season from them, and I did something that I didn't do the year before. So I actually added flowers to the pots, and I did that so it got pollinated. Because last year I didn't actually do this, and I got more apples on the trees than this year, and that didn't even work. So it's a little bit sad. I can't explain that. What's also taken a hammer is my sunflower. So the sunflowers are supposed to just carry on producing little buds, open, die off, and it just carries on doing that. But it's just stopped. And the sunflowers are so tiny compared to what it's supposed to be. So, and that's actually happening on all my sunflower. They are just, you can see they've died down. They're only supposed to be dying down in March, late February, March. But one thing that is doing very well in this bed is the butternut, the cucumber, and now the brinjal. Another thing that I have been struggling with is squash and zucchini. So I see that this particular zucchini has got a veggie there. The rest of this is all male, but there is one over there, and all I can do is pray that that one doesn't rot and fall off, because that is the problem we're having right now with the squash and zucchini. And here's a good example. So it grows, it gets to this point that I can see straight away is not going to make it. That is going to rot and fall off. I have one there that seems to be looking good, and another 2 there, but it gets to a point where it looks healthy, and then next minute it just falls off. The same as my golden zucchini. You can see that one is going to now rot and fall off, and I've got 2 new ones, and the same thing is going to probably happen to that. So it's driving me crazy that I can't even get any zucchinis. And my patty pan that I was growing, that didn't even germinate, and I grew quite a lot. I actually planted so much zucchinis, and I'm just struggling to even germinate it. So it's so crucial that we have sun some days, and we've just not had any sun. It's just been clouds, rain, and more rain. The peppers also took a bit of a knock. They are still very small. Some have just woken up. Like that one is only waking up now. It is the middle of January, guys. That plant should be huge. And I do have some fruits, but if you look at my peppers, this is supposed to be about the size of my hand. That's how long it should be, and look how small they are. They are all coming out tiny. So that is something that we've been struggling on, is my peppers and chili plants are waking up late, and they are very, very slow in producing, and also very slow in flowering and that. Something that is doing okay is obviously the sweet potatoes. But if I get too much rain, what's going to happen is that all these sweet potatoes growing will start getting soggy, and they will then rot and die off. And I'll give you another example. Here is a acha lemon plant. I've got an acha lemon here, but look how small my plant is. And I'll give you an example how big this plant should be. So that is, it's in a pot. And come over here, and this is my acha lemon in the ground that I planted here, 3 weeks ago, nearly a month. So that's from a pot to the bed. So let's hope that the rest of my peppers make it, because right now this pepper dew has been this size for 2 months. These pepper dews have not even grown, and these guys are so small. So this is an acha lemon, and it's been in this pot for ages. Pepper dews, jalapenos, they're small. They've been like this for literally 2 months. Another thing we've got here is the turmeric. The turmeric started, I think, in say November, but with all this rain, the turmeric, the garlic and the ginger, if it's too soggy in that, I might lose all my crops. So I will only find this out when I harvest the turmeric, the ginger and then the garlic, which was doing very well, and I'm hoping that it hasn't rotted. Something that is enjoying this weather is the watermelons. The watermelons seem to be doing fine, and the only problem I have with the watermelons is that the leaves are all getting mildew on it, and as that happens I just take all the leaves off. But unfortunately with the green melons I've literally had to take all the leaves off, and I'm hoping that my watermelon doesn't die. It shouldn't, because the vine is intact and it's not damaged. The growth in the green melons are so slow. They have been that size for about 3.5 weeks. So I'm hoping that when the sun does pop out, even for half a day, that all my plants just take advantage of the sun. Over here we've got the Amish melon, and it's doing pretty well. It has given me a whole bunch of flowers, and I do see a whole bunch of melons on here, so pretty chuffed with that. First time growing this, so super excited to see what it holds. I had to put some trellis on here because of the soil getting so soggy and that. I'm trying to lift all my crops off the ground. This melon is called my Cassava Golden Beauty, and it is doing pretty well. Pretty happy with it. Got it off the ground. It started flowering. So I'm hoping it's going to be a little bit happier here, and I don't see any melons. I see a whole bunch of flowers, and I'm trying to see if there's any female flowers. There seems to be one over there, but it doesn't look strong enough. But no whole thumbs for that one. I got the star and moon off the ground. It looks good. It started to actually bush out quite a lot. Got the Charontis melon here, and this guy is growing. He is looking amazing. See how big he's gotten. And there's another vine coming out there, and I've got this guy trailing with my loofah plant, and it seems to be happy. So I do see a whole bunch of melons on here. Check that out. So that's pretty cool. The loofah's also started to shoot up, and I think I got my first loofah there. Pretty chuffed about that, and it just carries on going right over my trellis, which I actually designed especially for my vines. And I've got another loofah plant that's taken off, starting to catch up on this side, and eventually they'll meet up, and this whole arch will just be loofah, and obviously the melon that decided to join them. I've got another, I think it's an Amish, growing on there, and I do see a melon on there. So yeah guys, I've tried to lift all my melons off the ground because it was starting to look really bad. My spinach is looking really sad. The bok choy and pak choys are all growing very slow. I thought they would enjoy this weather, but they are taking a hammer. What is thriving in this bed is all my kale, but this kale decided to go that way even with support. The soil is just so soggy guys, and here's a perfect example of what the rain is doing. Look at my leaves. So this is my cucumber. Cucumbers are doing very well, but all my leaves are just starting to get moldy, so I need to cut these leaves off because they do spread, and I don't want them spreading to my cucumbers. But the cucumbers are enjoying this weather. They are growing, besides the mildew. And then another cucumbers over here. The rose is doing perfect. Sunflowers taking a hammer, and the garden is just so soggy, very soggy. You can see everything is just so damp and wet. I've got some raw figs that I can take off. But in this pot, I unfortunately lost most of my nectarines. I had put my nectarines in bags like this to protect them from the birds. I did that last year and it worked perfectly. I've got about 20 to 30 nectarines off of this tree last year. I pruned it, I fertilized it, and it actually grew beautifully. It gave me a whole bunch of fruits. I put the bags around them, and then the rain just would not stop, and it rained and rained and rained, and unfortunately majority of the fruit, and I would say about 50 little nectarine fruits, they all literally rotted. They either fell off or they rotted, and you can see over here they just rot, and the birds try to get hold of them. The plum tree seems to be doing perfect. Don't see a problem there, and I think out of everything at the homestead, this was the saddest thing that I had to witness, is all my nectarines rot because of the wet soil. And right now the sun is trying to push out, but what happens is that the clouds just come in, and then there's a huge downfall again. And you can see that the leaves are all wet from the rain from last night. Things are just not drying up. You can see what's happening here, how much water is sitting in this bucket. So it's been really hard to maintain the homestead this year. So with all this rain, not only is my crops battling, and I'm just seeing a huge change in the garden and at the homestead, but my animals also starting to get sick. Where the chickens are kept, it is so muddy there that one of our baby chickens has an eye infection that I've been treating for the last week. And then we also got Bailey over there, and the same thing's happened. He's got a huge eye infection that I've been treating this whole week. So guys, that is what's happening at the homestead. I just can't keep up with the rain. Climate change is happening. Right now the sun has popped up behind all the clouds, and that would basically last for maybe a good 10 minutes. Clouds will start rolling in again, and then we have this huge massive downfall, a cloudburst basically, and then during the night it just starts drizzling, and things just don't get time to soak up and dry. The soil is continuously wet, and I've just lost so much crops. What happens is that all my fruits, and especially my tomato plants, and figs, they absorb all that water, and they store it, and then they split open, and most of my tomatoes are starting to split open, so I try and harvest as much as I can. I've lost so much fruits on my plants because of all the water. Unfortunately, it's been a rough month in December. January has started off with a bang, and as I said, the sun only comes out for 10 minutes, and then the clouds start rolling in, and then the wind picks up, and then we have more rain, and it's a vicious cycle. It's just continuing like that. So to see how this month goes, the weather prediction is rain for the whole month still, and I'm just hoping that February is going to be a little bit different, and that there'll be some sun, because February should be the hottest month in South Africa. So thank you for coming around the homestead and just seeing the change this season. It's very different from last season, where we were walking around in the shorts, in the sun, watching everything starting to flower and fruit ripen, harvest so much fruit. This year is a little bit different, and just hoping that Next week the weather forecast is a little bit different. We are all praying for the rain to stop just a little bit. We don't mind the afternoon showers and that, but for it to be raining every single day throughout the day for over a month, it's just taking an impact on the animals, on the homestead, on our crops, and I think also our mood. Right now we are all got cabin fever. You can't do much in a soggy garden, but I do find myself sometimes barefoot in the garden, just trying to maintain what I can. So guys, if you are not subscribed to the channel, please do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. It will mean the world to me, just so that you guys can just follow my journey at the homestead. We've been going since 2021 and you've just seen how we've grown from there. So give this video a like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.